Hello, Steve White, Trickboy89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, I just watched Picard Season 2, Episode 3, Assimilation. The cliffhanger is resolved in about 5 minutes. Basically, they fight the security guards and the president's husband, and because no one apparently uses stun in New Trek, they are disintegrated, and that's that. Now, the Confederate ships attack their ship, so they're fighting them. The Borg Queen gets knocked out of her little carriage, and she assimilates the ship, destroys the other ships, and sends them back into time. Now, I was hoping for a more elaborate sequence because of, improved technology with special effects, but the sequence we got was far less memorable than what we got in the voyage home. Basically, we just got close-ups of the ship, of the crew, with the lighting risen up a bit and some sparks in the background and a bit of backwards and forwards slow motion time, and that's really it. So I was kind of disappointed with that. Now, the Borg Queen has drained herself of energy, so she's siphoning all the energy out of the ship, so there's no energy for the sick bay, so Elnor dies, and Raffi goes crazy. In order to avoid actually processing the grief she's going through, she just becomes really aggressive and irrational and annoying. She actually sort of asks or demands that everyone tell her that if they fix time, it will save Elnor. And I'm like, no, he's already dead. You're outside of time. So unless you go on a separate mission to try and avoid his death, he's going to stay dead no matter what you do. So I guess she needs to believe that in order to get through the mission. So she's gung-ho with getting a mission together, and they decide they're going to go to the highest point in LA so they can scan for the Watcher because they assume they'll find the technology that they're using somewhere. So Rios, Seven, and Raffi beam out. Now, Jurati and Picard stay behind because they need to wake the Borg Queen up. She's in like a coma, she's in stasis. She's speaking to the collective, but there is no collective, so she's just inside herself. And they have a theory, they try to work something out, but I'll get into that later. The other guys beam in. Now, Raffi beams into like a homeless area, and the guy tries to mug her. She smashes his face in, takes his wallet, and goes. Now, Seven actually beams down in a park, and there's a little girl watching, and she's like, "Oh my God, are you a superhero?" And she sort of leans down and winks at her and says, "Keep my secret," and walks off. Now, it's totally breaking the fourth wall because Seven is out of character because Seven's not that human, but it's a cute scene, so it's okay. Now, unfortunately for Rios, and this is painful to watch, he materializes over a fire escape and basically smashes his face on that, flips over, and then smashes his head and shoulders onto the sidewalk like 2 floors below. It's painful to watch, and he's left in a pool of blood. Now he gets taken to a hospital, and because he's basically saying no police, no hospital, because Raffi has basically lectured him about her not trusting him not to leave something behind or contaminate the timeline, they take him to a hospital that deals with illegals and immigrants. So they fix him up. He's got a concussion and a broken finger. There's a little boy that finds his communicator and he's trying to bargain to get it back off him. The doctor and the nurse take the badge again, and he basically has to wait till he gets better, and he's just about to leave. He's dressed, and before he can get the badge given back, ICE shows up, or some people raid the doctor's surgery. Now, they managed to get all the patients out, and Rios actually dresses up like a doctor and tries to help them escape by distracting, but they see the wound, the bandages on his hand, and see that he's actually a patient, and they arrest him. And what we're left is his badge sitting on the bench, basically, with Picard saying, "Rios, are you there? Are you there?" Now, the story with Jurati, and I nearly forgot, Q pops up only once in the episode. When they're about to go back in time, he pops up and says to Picard, this is really the only reality you understand, isn't it? Being in danger, fighting, violence, basically being an animal. And I really resented that as a human being. That's not what humanity is about and not what we like. And this plays into something I really resented in Star Trek Beyond. The message with that film was, the film starts off with Kirk complaining on his captain's log about how boring space exploration is and how boring it is basically to be at peace and be happy. And basically the message of that film is we're really only alive when we're fighting and challenged and in danger. And it's just really not the message of Star Trek and not what I sort of want to see in my Star Trek. And that kind of resented that. Now, Jurate and Picard, Jurate basically says, we need to wake the Borg Queen up. Basically, she's gone into stasis and she's talking to herself, and we need to get the information out of her and wake her up. So she says, look, if you allow her to partially assimilate me, because apparently it's a slow process, it's a process in stages, I should be able to wake her up, turn the lights on, basically, turn the power for the ship on, and get the information out of her before I'm assimilated, and you can just pull me out. And I'm thinking, I'm not sure that's going to work, but I'm okay. And this is not like any assimilation I've ever seen, and I've seen every episode of Star Trek and First Contact. They basically plug a USB cable into her neck, literally, I'm not joking. As soon as it touches her neck, it just attaches, and suddenly she's connected to the Borg Queen. There's no nanoprobes, there's no implants, there's no tendrils, there's nothing technologically affecting her or inside of her body that is going to connect her to the Borg and allow her to speak to the Borg. So it doesn't make any sense. And the Borg is walking through. They act like this is a telepathic possession, not so much a technological assimilation which connects people, mentally. So basically, they're walking through Jurate's mind like it's a house. And she goes in one door where she's honest and saying embarrassing things, and then she starts yelling at Picard for not having real emotions and being fake, and causing a PRI, swear words. And then they go into a room where her fear is. She's afraid of not getting out, and the Borg Queen starts to sort of take over. And there's a moment where Jurate's talking through the Borg Queen, the Borg Queen's talking through her, and Picard's like, no, she's too far, you're already being possessed, you're being assimilated. And she's like, no, I need a bit longer because I need to get the information, blah, blah, blah. And eventually he just pulls the cord. And then once the cord comes off, there's no sign it was ever there. She's just back to normal. There's nothing to show she was ever attempted to be assimilated, and it doesn't make any sense. Now, I know there was, because they're acting like it's a psychic possession and not like a physical transformation. So I find it really bizarre. I know in First Contact and that Picard sort of talked about still being able to hear the voices and that. I never took that as literally like he could still hear through a psychic link. I just thought that was post-traumatic stress and his imagination and memories and things like that. So, but they're playing this like it's a psychic link. Like that's how it's done. It's more like a possession than an assimilation. So he takes Jurate away from her and is looking to get some distance from her. But before that, the Borg Queen was trying to bargain with him, saying, "Look, give me the ship, and I'll give you the location and the time of the Watcher and the Temporal incursion." And then Jurate is asleep during this. She wakes up and she's like, "Is she trying to bargain with you? Because I took that information. I stole that information. You don't have that information anymore." So she remembers the coordinates of where the Watcher's going to appear, but she can't remember the time yet. But she says she will remember. So Picard takes her away to get some distance between her and the Borg Queen, who does point out that they won't switch her off, basically. Not only do they need her, but their morality won't allow them to do it. So she's convinced that she will get the ship. So and the Borg Queen didn't really come across like the Borg Queen. She didn't play. She was much better in the first episode. The second episode, Bush, was the first episode she was in. This episode, she didn't feel like the Borg Queen. She didn't feel like Alice Krieg or the other Borg Queen played by Suanna Thompson. So whether this is a literal different Borg Queen, or whether this is still supposed to be the same Borg Queen, I'm unsure. But she didn't play it as well this time, and they are running the danger of having too much screen time with the Borg Queen and normalising her too much, where she's no longer mysterious or a threat. They should have had her switched off and incapacitated for the most part and just managed to reconnect her at the last minute when they needed the information. I think that would have worked better than her being sitting there on the ship the whole time talking to them and being part of the crew, essentially. If they go that way, I don't think it's going to work. Now, they do say early in the episode, they lay out all the things they have to do, that they sort of put this mission together to resolve the time incursion and everything, and it just sounded a bit like Mission Impossible, and clearly the next few episodes are just going to be these people on Earth of today walking around like normal. And this is not what I watch Star Trek for, to see people on current day Earth with current day problems and current day politics. I can get that from any other show. When I watch Star Trek, I want spaceships, Starfleet, the future, aliens. So I don't see myself getting much out of the next 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, 7 episodes, because I think to save money, it's all going to be based on Earth. It's all going to just be going through trials and activities and things to like get information and things in order to finish the mission. So I'm not looking forward to it. I don't think I'm really going to enjoy it. And yeah, it just seems to be trying to get away from what Star Trek is and make it more accessible to the public by literally stripping everything out of it that was Star Trek and making it just like a current day drama where a general audience person who's never seen Star Trek can just watch this and they don't have to know what the Federation is, they don't have to know what a starship is, they don't know how any of that universe works. They can just watch normal people in normal LA, and it's not doing anything for me. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I just, like I said, I just feel like they've pulled so far away from Star Trek that this is just current day people and just regular, like Twilight Zone sort of contemporary science fiction in a sense, where it's not really even like futuristic science fiction. It's just people walking around on Earth in regular clothes, talking to regular people, playing regular characters. So I feel I'm going to be very disappointed by the next few episodes, and I'm not going to really enjoy watching or reviewing it, but I'm going to, just because I do want to see what they do with it. Yeah, I'm going to go. Thanks, bye.